And while India's mission to bring back stranded Indians currently underway, so a massive repatriation exercise is on as we speak. Several Indians stranded abroad are now being brought back home via naval ships, via several flights. At least 64 flights, which are now running over a time frame of 1 week, which will be bringing back stranded Indians from several countries. Yesterday was day one of the mega exercise. It is called the Vande Bharat mission, combined Vande Bharat mission and Operation Samudra Setu, wherein naval ships and flights will be bringing back stranded Indians. In the latest, what we know is 5 more flights are set to return to India from different parts of the country today, including flights from Singapore, Saudi Arabia, Bangladesh, Bahrain and UAE. And our executive editor and my colleague Abhishek also joining us with more details on the same. Abhishek, 5 more flights which will be bringing back thousands of people today as well. It is day 2 of this mega repatriation exercise. The Vande Bharat mission, how successful does it look like at this point in time, given that we're already done with day 1 of the exercise?
Well, Christine, we just see the beginning of it today because this is the second only day. Yesterday there were just a couple of flights and today I can see there are 6 and gradually the number would increase. Tomorrow we are expecting one flight each from the United States and the United Kingdom at least, and then of course the major evacuation that is going on from the Middle East essentially. So for example, today flights are coming in from Riyadh, from Manama, which is in Bahrain, then 2 flights from Dubai. Apart from that, there is already a morning flight that has come from Dhaka to Srinagar, bringing in Kashmiri students who are essentially stuck there in Bangladesh. Most of them medicine students. And then, of course, one from Singapore to Delhi, which arrives at around noon with about 235 passengers. In all, I can see, Christine, that about 700 to 800 odd passengers would be arriving today. And in this week itself, 64 flights, a total of 64 flights are going to bring in about 15,000 Indians who are willing to come back. We are told that at last count, anything between 300 to 400,000 Indians have registered to come back, most of them from the Middle East. By the time this entire exercise is over, Operation Vande Bharat, this would have been one of its kind, biggest evacuation exercise carried out in the annals of Indian aviation history. So Ministry of External Affairs coordinating with its various missions, Ministry of Civil Aviation coordinating the flights, and of course the guidelines of the Ministry of Home Affairs and ICMR, because all these people who are coming back have to strictly follow the institutional quarantine mechanism. That's what is happening. But today, 6 or 7 flights that are going to bring back between 700 to 800 passengers back to India.
Oh yes, and as we speak, Abhishek, all those details that were flashing via these graphics, all the flights that will be coming back to India on day 2 of the Vande Bharat mission, from Singapore to the national capital, from Riyadh to Kozhikode, Dhaka to the national capital once again, Manama to Kochi. So several of these flights which are all set to return to India on day 2 of this mega exercise. Abhishek, also very important to point out here that how a strict standard operating procedure is also being followed. It is being made sure that all of those passengers firstly are tested for COVID-19, they're screened well in time, following which they will also be following a proper protocol once they reach India. So a standard operating procedure that is strictly being followed.
In fact, the very detailed guidelines were brought out by the MHA, Katrina, which included, apart from testing of these passengers at the port of embarkation, it included testing of COVID tests of all the air crew that is going to go on these flights. In fact, the US and UK flights were delayed by a day because test results of some of the crew members were to come, and finally they left last night, and they have to come back to India and then get quarantined. Also, what is most important to be underscored is between that these are non-scheduled flights, at the same time commercial flights. So everyone availing of this facility is actually paying for it, and there is no cross-subsidy involved of any kind, except for that the Ministry of Civil Aviation is facilitating these flights as a humanitarian measure, despite the fact that we are in the midst of a lockdown.
Oh yes. We'll leave it at that, Abhishek, but quickly updating our viewers with the visuals we're flashing on our television screens currently. INS Jalashwa, the Indian Navy's warship, which has now reached Maldives, the Malé port. Those are the visuals that we're picking up at this point in time. Several Indians who will be brought back in naval ships as well. It is a part of Operation Samudra Setu that we're looking at. So a massive repatriation exercise which has been taken up by India, like Abhishek was rightly pointing out, via both sea and air. Close to 15,000 people will be brought back within the 7 days that we're looking at. The 1 week window that we're looking at, close to 15,000 people who will be brought back in 64 flights, and 3 warships which have already been sent to Maldives and UAE, several others also on standby. Massive repatriation exercise, part of Operation Samudra Setu and Vande Bharat mission.